What's cracking, everybody? XehrFelrose here, bringing you some Pokemon Go battling content. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at brand new breaking Swipe Haxorus with some battles submitted to the channel by a good friend of mine, StopAlcatraz, also former #1 in the world player. He has submitted some battles for us to take a look at, and if you'd like to submit some battles as well, my dear trainers, you can find a link in the description and the pinned comment to submit a Google form for Shoutcast. But let's take a look at these battles right here, right now. Breaking Swipe Haxorus on the lead against a Swampert. That's a pretty good lead, man. You resist the Hydro Cannon, so they swap out into Dugong, and this Haxorus is running counter, so Alcatraz goes for his Breaking Swipe in order to lower the attack of the Dugong, and now with some pretty decent chip damage, Haxorus is essentially like a glass cannon, especially in the Ultra and Great Leagues where its CP is capped. But Icy Wind is going to come through onto the Sableye, but it really doesn't matter because you would still need another one to KO. And Alcatraz is going for his Sableye's Foul Play to deal some damage to the Dugong. At this point, you probably just farm this down and then hit the Swampert with a move when it comes back in. And then you've still got alignment with the Haxorus on the Swampert if you need it. Honestly, I mean, yeah, it's pretty good alignment, I'd say, because you're forcing them to go Earthquake or they deal with resisted damage. Now, going for double Foul Play here is better than going for one single return. But unfortunately, that also means that the Sableye will probably get farmed down. And I just realized that Sableye is definitely misnamed. But I'm not going to stop now. I'm already like 3 minutes into this video. So they go for the bait, and then there's a Skarmory that comes in, and we're going to go for the neutral Surf here. And this is going to do some decent damage, even though it's Surf. It still does, you know, a fair amount of chip damage. But it looks like Haxorus is probably going to go down here. Alcatraz is going to pull the trigger on the energy for the Breaking Swipe before going down to the the Air Slashes, rather. And then Cofagrigus comes in. Going to shield up a potential Brave Bird. I think I respect it. And then you're going to see this poor birdie get farmed down as we got the name change in here. And then, honestly, you don't even need a shield here. One Earthquake won't even take out the Cofagrigus, so you're going to easily be able to farm down here, and that's going to take this game. Well played. Well played. Going into the next game here, we're going to have our Haxorus up against the Sandslash, and Alolan Sandslash, mind you, and that's a good lead because the double super effective counters, look, they're just ripping through the Sandslash, dude. 5 counters, and it's already at like 40% HP. That's wild. Ice Punch is going to get a shield, and then the opponent is staying in to get farmed down. That's dangerous because Haxorus with energy, even down to shield, this could be very dangerous. The opponent was core broken by Haxorus, given that they bothered not to even swap. And then they stay in against Sableye with their Medicham. I'm not really sure about this decision. There's the Sableye that comes in. I mean, the Sableye would have been up a shield, so I think the opponent could have still safely brought in the Sableye. But now you can already see what's going to happen. Sableye is going to come in on Alcatraz's Sableye. Has to shield at least once here. And then Haxorus can probably unload a couple of moves into the Sableye. Can you farm down? Oh, gets there with just enough HP to survive a Shadow Claw. The third Foul Play is going to come through and is almost going to KO the Sableye. Haxorus just comes in and absorbs the energy, and Cofagrigus easily gets to a Shadow Ball to take out the Medicham. But on that wasn't CMP, I don't think. I think that might have been a... no, it was CMP. But it wasn't the first one. That was the second CMP. The move was thrown, and then the CMP, I believe, happened. But Breaking Swipe is going to gimp the Medicham, and Alcatraz is just going to stay in and try and finish this fight with the Haxorus and drain the Medicham of its energy. And then that's going to be a wrap here because Breaking Swipe KOs, and that's going to be a good game. Well played. Going into this next battle here, we're going to have the Haxorus against a Pelipper. This is also not a terrible lead, but not ideal because the counters are resisted. But Breaking Swipe will do neutral, whereas the Weather Ball from the Pelipper will do resisted. So this is a good spot for the Haxorus to be in because, dude, look at how much damage that did. And then Altaria comes in. Okay, that would have been painful. So Altaria is going to come in, and the Cofagrigus is going to counter swap in. Shadow Ball looks like the move to go for here. I don't think you want to bait with Dark Pulse because there's a chance they don't even shield. And there's actually a pretty decent difference in the damage there. Ding, 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 ding. I've never seen anybody do this ghost like that before. That's pretty neat. It's unique. I've never seen anyone do it that way. So Shadow Ball is going to get the CMP. Cofagrigus wins CMP on Altaria. That's news to me. I've never actually had that situation happen, but the opponent has put down both shields. Cofagrigus has done his job as far as I'm concerned. it just let it go at this point. And then Sableye gets to come in, probably gets to a foul play. I don't know if the foul play KOs. Maybe you want to shield up. No, he's going to go for, I think that might have been going for CMP there. But it looks like the foul play is going to be enough to KO this Altaria. The Pelipper is going to come in. You shield up the Weather Ball because you kind of have to, I think. And then Haxorus is going to pop in here into a Medicham, and this is not a bad situation because what you can do now is you can just go for as many breaking swipes as the opponent lets you get to, and then you just come in with the Sableye, farm down, and then launch a move into the Pelipper, and that's going to be a good game already. I can see how it's going, and it's exactly what it looks like it's going to happen. The opponent is forced to throw their energy. Sableye can easily either farm up to 2 moves or farm all the way down, or just throw right before the opponent would get to a charge move. Either way works. I think that all is the same way to this, or different ways to the same end, you know, different means to an end, supposedly. So we're gonna see this move get no shielded. He's got the balls, ladies and gentlemen, to not shield that move, and foul play is gonna take out the Pelipper, and that's gonna be a good game. Well played. That felt like a BM, dude. You shield that, come on. Oh my goodness, great lead here against a G-Fisk. Counter damage is going to add up, plus we've got Surf. Noctowl is going to pop in, and we get to Breaking Swipe so fast. I believe it's 5 counters to the Breaking Swipe. That's going to lower the attack of the Noctowl and allow Alcatraz to now shield up his Haxorus and possibly provide another debuff, and I think that might actually make this matchup a lot more bearable for Sableye or Cofagrigus, depending on who we want to come in with here. But I feel like maybe you just stay in. No, okay, we're going to try to catch a move on the Sableye. And honestly, the Noctowl's in farm down range. Like, with 2 attack drops, it didn't do nothing, man. You can easily tank 1 more of those, go for a nice big farm down, come out with a lot of energy. The G-Fisk has no energy because they swapped immediately. And this is basically going to set up Alcatraz for a nice Cofagrigus sweep now that this Owl is here and is about to be out of the way. I imagine that with G-Fisk in the lead, there's a good chance that they probably have something like Medicham in the back, so Cofagrigus is looking really strong right now, if that's correct. So, nope, it is not a Cofagrigus. That's a double flyer team with Talonflame, but all the same, all the energy in the world will not stop this Talonflame from just getting eaten alive. Well, I guess all the energy will cause it to be eaten alive, I should say. I don't know, man. English is hard. All right. Cofagrigus is going to tank this Flame Charge because it knows it can. It could even take a Brave Bird if it wanted to. Going to go for 2 Shadow Claws with good timing and throw this Dark Pulse into the opponent's Talonflame to get the shield. It is slightly less energy, and it also is going to either get the shield or it's going to KO the Talonflame. Like, either way, you don't have to throw the Shadow Ball there, but it's going to let it go, and then come in with the Haxorus to do some counters, and we're going to finish this game off with the Haxorus. G-Fisk is going to not enjoy these Surfs coming into it, and on CMP, Alcatraz is going to be able to throw his charge move with the Haxorus. Surf will do a lot of damage, dude. That's more than half. I'm pretty certain that was probably at least a good 50 to 55%. And the Rock Slide's going to come through. Another Surf will easily take out this G-Fisk from this range, and that's going to be a good game, well played to both trainers. So now, rolling into this next game here, what we've got is Azumarill. Dude, this is terrible. He's gonna go straight into the Sableye. I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, former #1 leaderboard player. This dude has balls of steel, and he loves to flaunt it. Player up gets the shield. Opponent is gonna have to shield this if they want to keep their Azumarill healthy for that Haxorus. Return will get a shield, and now we're going to see exactly how this opponent wants to play this matchup out. They're staying in, which means they're possibly weak in the back to Sableye. Alcatraz is going to throw down his second shield. The opponent throws the play rough, and do they decide to stay in and commit this matchup? He's going to go for a foul play bait with good timing there, getting right under 100 energy. This man knows his Sableye, ladies and gentlemen, and now I believe he should be able to get to the return, and he's going to be able to KO this Azumarill. I'm pretty sure that's going to be a dub on the Azumarill here. This should KO. Yup, there goes Azumarill, and now the opponent has a G-Fisk in the back, and that is a huge loss for them because Azumarill was a massive core breaker and a wall to the Haxorus, and now that it's gone, Haxorus can probably just run free over everything. Opponent's going to go for a charge move. This Rock Slide should be enough to KO, I do believe, and if it's, yeah, it definitely is. So Haxorus is then going to come in and is going to be able to go for the Surf before the opponent gets to another move. However, oh no, they would have been one before, but reading the situation, G-Fisk is going to throw an Earthquake, and that is caught into Cofagrigus, and Cofagrigus is going to get a huge farm down. This usually sets up Cofagrigus, and the opponent just concedes. Bet you they had a Medicham in the back. Well played, man. Umbreon lead. Yeah, you definitely like to see this here. Cofagrigus and Sableye, I don't really care much for it, but Sableye is going to come in to counter against the Deoxys safe swap, and this is an easy matchup. There's absolutely no possible way that the Deoxys can win this matchup, because even if they shield both foul plays here, I'm pretty sure that Sableye will get to a third quite comfortably, even if they want to put their shields down. So easily going to just let this go. And then Sableye has some extra energy to get to the return before the Umbreon can get to a charge move or anything else, really, because it's not like you can farm down a Sableye at this point. You do have to throw a charge move eventually. Otherwise, you're going to take like 2, maybe even 3 returns. So yeah, you kind of have to throw an energy at some point. Just going straight for the return, forcing the energy off the opponent before he gets to the return. Very nicely done. Tip for anyone out there who's watching this, the reason why you don't want to go for foul play in that situation to get some chip damage in is because if you do, then the opponent can safely know that they can farm down because there's no threat of you getting to another move. So it's always better to just keep farming up to the nuke. If your opponent lets you throw the nuke, then you throw it. But don't chicken out and throw not very effective move. And speaking of not very effective, this Galarian Zapdos that just came in, holy spicy. Oh, this is great. All right, this is some spice right here, ladies and gentlemen. We got a breaking Swipe Haxorus against the Galarian Zapdos. I wish I had a Galarian Zapdos. I really wish I did. Gonna get the last, or no, that's still 2 shields left. So this is gonna be 1 more shield, but Cofagrigus is gonna easily be able to absorb this energy here. It could be a close combat. It's a close combat. All right, that was, yeah, the opponent's just like, nah, that's it, we're done. Well played. Another great game. Galarian Zapdos, some absolute spice. Another great lead here, Medicham. We can easily just double safe swap into the double ghost line here, and the Medicham is deciding to stay in and chip the Sableye for some reason. I don't know if this is, I mean, these are lower ranked battles, I guess like 16, 17, so I know that not the decisions, you're not going to see everyone making like worlds level decisions here, but typically you don't want to give Sableye an energy lead because that's just a very dangerous thing to do, especially in the Great League where Sableye kind of just is a monster with energy. You give it maybe even a couple of extra Shadow Claws and it can just rip through so many things. So Sableye will eat that move, but it's going to allow the Haxorus to come in and get a nice juicy farm, or able to throw the Breaking Swipe to force a shield off the opponent potentially. Breaking Swipe does not get a shield, but the opponent is down a shield. Cofagrigus is going to swap in, and the opponent has the Alolan Sand Slash with 1 shield, and the Cofagrigus has 2 shields, and those Shadow Claws are not going to add up fast enough for this Cofagrigus to really worry about this. This is an easy win. Haxorus could easily also just come in and farm down here. Gonna go for the Dark Pulse to get the shield off of the Alolan Sand Slash, and Haxorus is just waiting in the wings to dominate if it needs to. But honestly, think that you could just farm down here and then launch a Shadow Ball into the Medicham and call it a day. That's a pretty simple way to end this game, in my opinion. So let's see what happens here. Cofagrigus does get the farm down, gets the Shadow Ball immediately, and then Medicham is going to go down to this Cofagrigus. Good game, well played. That's that. Going into this next one here, we're going to have a Shadow Machamp on the lead. This is kind of dangerous, but you got to go into your double. Oh, no. Oh, no. They counter with a Wigglytuff, dude. That's terrible. No. Yeah, this whole team just kind of loses to Wigglytuff, so I have to see how he's going to get out of this one. This one just looks painful, all right? I don't know. We're all along for the ride, folks. Wigglytuff will absolutely shred this Haxorus. He's going to have to shield up the Disarming Voice. Going to have to hope that he's going to get a shield back, even though he's going to lose half of his HP off the Haxorus before this Wigglytuff can go down. Oh, that's disgusting. Nobody runs Wigglytuff anymore. And you know, yep, this team is triple weak to Wigglytuff and ABA weak to Charm. But in all fairness, there's so very few people running these Pokemon anymore that it's okay to build a team that's weakish to it, because yeah, you might see once in a while a team that runs these Pokemon, but overall, if you look at all of your games across the day, if you're strong against everything else but the Charmers, you see Charmers 1 or 2 times a day, that's 23 games out of 25 in a day that you have a solid chance with. So I still think that that was fine. We're going to have to see, though, who wins CMP against the Shadow Machamp and the Haxorus, because I feel like that's what it's going to come down to here. With 1 shield remaining, I'll bet you that this Haxorus is going to have to come in now. Nope, he's going to commit the shield onto the Cofagrigus, and unfortunately we'll lose CMP. So I think that the thing to do there might have been to come up with the Haxorus, but if that Swampert had that much extra energy, it may not have been a good thing anyway. So we're going to have to see, yep, the CMP. Unfortunately, Swampert just too oppressively spammy, going to be able to outdo this entire team here in the end game. Unfortunately, the Machamp had a move loaded, so that's going to be a good game. Well played, good effort, trainer, did his best. The Wigglytuff, honestly, was just, that was it. Like, once the Wigglytuff popped out, that was the end of the game right there. So we got another Azumarill lead here in this game, and we're going to see Sableye pop in. We're probably going to see StopAlcatraz play the same way as he did prior. That's another thing that I always, you know, every time it comes up in my games, I mention it, consistency, right? If you see something, you know, if you see a way to play something, you know, a matchup, you know, the opponent leads Azumarill, and you won a game playing it a certain way, play it the same way again. So, ooh, going for a spicy return throw, the opponent might expect a foul play, and this might hit him pretty hard. Ooh, they shielded up. So 2 shields down. This time the Haxorus will come in and absorb the fire damage from the Incinerates, but not before that stupid bird, a chicken bird, gets an extra move in. So you have to, you don't even respect it. You just let it go. He calls a flame charge. That's a huge call. And now the Talonflame is going to be able to get to some increased Incinerate damage and leave the Haxorus looking pretty low here. But with 1 shield, you're kind of hoping that Azumarill and, oh, they have a Deoxys in the back. With 1 shield, you win. If they have Deoxys or Medicham in the back, we're sitting pretty. So I think, yeah, you just let this go, and you just need to land a couple of Shadow Balls into that Azumarill, and with a shield, that should be more than doable with this much energy. So Shadow Ball is going to clap out the Deoxys, and the Shadow Ball comes from the Cofagrigus with decent timing. I think that was pretty good timing there. I wasn't paying attention to the timing, to be honest. But we're going to be able to take that one out. He's going to go for the Dark Pulse because he's going to get to it before the Shadow Ball. Literally not shielding. This man, I'm telling you, balls of steel, y'all. Goes for the resisted Surf, knowing it's going to do enough damage to KO. He's even looking, he's playing at 12% battery, dude. This dude lives life on the edge. He has no chill. And that's how he gets to #1 in the leaderboards, folks. Good lead here with the Haxorus against the Galvantula. You're resisting and outpacing, and you're doing, look at, you're just eviscerating, even with resisted counters, you're eviscerating it. So you have to stay in here, I think. You get a shield off of the Galvantula, which is really nice. And because you are trading attack debuffs, this matchup gets better the longer the Haxorus is in it, because it's going to get to those attack debuffs before the Galv can. And I feel like the Galv definitely, even with 2 attack drops, the Galv cannot win this matchup, because one of these moves is going to do enough damage to take it out. So Lunge will not KO the from the Galv. The Haxorus lives with just a couple HP. Golbat's going to come in. Alcatraz immediately pivots to his Sableye, and the opponent throws a resisted Poison Fang, probably going to swap out into something else now. Nope, they're just going to go straight Poison Fang. Typically in this matchup, you do want to go for the Shadow Ball, because at least you're going to get a shield off the opponent, or off of whoever you're against. Shadow Golbat, you know, if your Poison Fangs are resisted, you don't usually want to just go straight Poison Fang. In this case, it worked out, but just in general, it's just not usually a good way to go about it. So thinking maybe we come with the Cofagrigus, start farming up and attempt to catch, but we're going to have to shield up a Poison Fang, potentially. They're probably going to go for Poison Fang, let's be honest. Going to have to shield up a Shadow Ball if they throw it. No, Poison Fang is here, but at least we've got, oh, it's a Medicham. That's exactly what you wanted to see. We've got the Haxorus in back to clear the debuff, thankfully, if needed, but I think, honestly, Cofagrigus just gets to a Shadow Ball after this, and that's going to be it. We don't have to shield this up, because I'm pretty sure this is just an Ice Punch, and then the Cofagrigus gets one more move, and they got the Shadow Ball loaded to go. It's all done, baby. He's going to swap in the Haxorus. What a Chad, dude. He's like, I have the energy, and I don't care. Haxorus gets to take out the opponent's Golbat in the final game, winning that set. And honestly, Breaking Swipe makes Haxorus so much better in the Great League and Ultra League and even in Master League. It's literally a strict upgrade with a very, very spammy debuff move. Kind of like Rayquaza. If you've seen any of my content with Rayquaza in the Master League, it's really strong, and I'm really loving this thing. I cannot wait to start busting mine out from the community day from yesterday. So thank y'all so much for watching. We'll catch y'all in the next video. Bye-bye.